higher voltage.
Yes, it's Higher Voltage Podcast. We in the building. Got a special guest, Anthony Davis, aka Swamp Willie. What's good?
Carl Rancher's in the building.
And I was checking out the book, man. Sentenced to Life, right here, man. Let the people know a little bit about your background before we talk about the book and the story. Let the people know about your background, where you come from, where you started at, and like how you was raised.
I'm out of Carl Rancher's, better known now as West Park. Growed up there. I did a lot of my younger days fishing, going to the park, hanging out with the GJs, my friends, and more or less trying to make it, hustling.
Right.
Taking one step at a time.
Definitely.
But I growed up too fast, and I came to the point to learn. My dad always used to tell me, nothing's worth your freedom, boy.
Right.
And now I realize that nothing's worth your freedom. For all the youths out there, for all the young girls, there is nothing worth your freedom. Nothing on this earth. And I tell each and every last one of y'all, crime did not pay.
Right.
Look at me, 41 years in prison, and every day I hated it. But through the grace of God, I'm here.
Most definitely. So let's tell people about the story. So like going back, because this happened fairly early as a teenager. I see as at 14, it first into that space where you caught that charge. So let the people know about like around the situation, like basis upon like you catching that charge and like being introduced to the prison world.
I was direct file, as you know. I was 14 years old when I did my crime.
Okay.
I turned 15 February 6th. I got sentenced February 26th, 20 days later. They direct filed me. My attorney talked me into a plea. He was playing to me like, Anthony, they can't keep you until you're 21. So regardless of what the sentence say, 21, they got to release you. That's the impression he gave me. Because if you go to the transcript, you see I'm always stop. I didn't know what life sentence was. I mean, straight up. I didn't know what concurrent was. I didn't know what consecutive was. So each part of the process, they had to stop. And I went behind the scenes. My lawyer, he always gave me a story. So I get in front of the judge, so you understand? I say, no, Your Honor, I don't understand. So it was a big conflict, and all of it inside the transcript. And you'll see that they had a young black kid holding a letter I couldn't read or write. They took advantage of.
Right.
I was coerced and taking a sentence that nobody in their right mind would have took.
But the lawyer was telling you that you would get out at 21. So you still was kind of under the impression that I'm still get out when I'm 21, so I'm listening to him, kind of, right?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what I'm trusting.
Right.
I'm trusting the person that this court appointed me to represent me. Not only that, HRS, back then, Children, Family, Friendly Children, they supposed to be in there too at my hearing. They didn't even show up. They're nowhere on the records. That's a whole different proceeding because Chapter 39, 1111C says suitability or non-suitability shall be determined before any other disposition. Okay. That shows that the judge had to have a hearing on 6 criteria I had to meet. I didn't meet 2 of them. So D says that if the court finds the defendant guilty, he must put it in a reason why. None of that's part of the record.
And to my knowledge, at the time you were sentenced, a lot of these laws is not even the same as it is now, like with the 85% of the time and, a juvenile being direct file sentenced to a certain amount of time, like it seems like a lot of stuff changed since then.
One thing I noticed in the law, they make more laws to stop a juvenile from going back to prison and allow us back into prison. Every time I file my research, I find a good case that's helping me. But I find 3 other cases against it that turn it around, saying it's no good. So that was my wall. The state of Florida was making more laws to keeping us inside than letting us out. And that's
the bottom line.
The bottom line.
So rehabilitation, do you feel like our Florida system services have rehabilitation programs for inmates in once they get out?
No, it's about incarceration, no rehabilitation. Probably years ago in 79 and all that, because you went to school. Now, you must have 5 years or less to enroll in school.
Wow.
If you got a life sentence, you can't get in the food program now. And I taught myself how to read and write in the cell.
That's amazing.
I also used to teach my own class at Florida State Prison.
What was you teaching?
I was teaching slow readers.
Okay.
Because the principal at the time realized that I had a story that would help other people.
Right. They could relate with it.
That's right. And I realized I had to, when you're illiterate, it's an automatic defensive mechanism to be on your defensive.
Right.
And because I was there. You talk about reading and writing, I got my face all balled up.
Like, who does think he's smarter than me, trying to play me?
No, trying to make me look dumb. But it's just automatic. I realized that I had to teach them to trust me. I had to get them to win their trust. Then I started teaching.
So, although you was robbed of your freedom, I want to ask you, like, is it certain things that now that you are out that you feel like, now that you sat down, that maybe you did learn in there, or like aspects of life? Because we all rather be free than locked up, But sometimes, how fast, because you did say you was moving pretty fast.
Yes, I was.
So we all know the ending term is death or jail. Sometimes, do you ever find yourself in a space that now that you're free, now that you're free, that you look back at it like, certain things did get avoided, or you learned certain things from being in there?
I learned the most important thing I learned about myself.
Okay.
And I spent about 26 years in solitary confinement in a cell by myself. And during those times, I had some ups and I had some downs. But it got to a point where I forgot about what home felt like.
Right.
When I thought about home, I thought about the 4 walls I was in.
Most definitely.
I didn't think about car renters. I didn't think about the house I grew up in. It just faded away. Home was where I was sitting at. So the lines got kind of blurred. I used to go to the window sometimes and just look across the gates. I see my freedom right there, but it was a million miles away. That was the most hurting part of looking out the window.
So did you ever get a space where you felt like you were starting to make yourself mentally prepared to be free, or just like not letting your surroundings or your circumstance like cage the mind? Because if you were able to teach others, at least it seems that at some point you're not letting your circumstance stop you from being productive, learning. It seems that you was able to rise to the occasion and actually teach others if they was intensive reading, and you was able to give them that. Were you able to find some peace in helping them with intensive reading and things like that?
Enjoyed it.
Most definitely.
Each one I learned, taught a new word. I taught this one guy, he couldn't speak English. In 18 months, I gave him get a GED. That was one of my biggest trophies. Made me feel so proud, that it shook me to my foundation and showed me that God's great and he had no equal, And I love teaching people, man. Right now today, I love helping people. Right. It's just my calling in life.
I was gonna ask you that. Do you feel like that's a sense of your purpose in life, to help people?
Yes, it is. Every day. Every morning I get up, I got a support group, a group of people. My age is one. I say good morning every morning. If it ain't a verse or something I'm gonna sing, it's always something encouraging. because I know I like it. I like the feeling of telling somebody else good morning. I like the sense when they hit me back, hey, good morning, Anthony, what's up, man, good? You know, that give me purpose in life. That makes me feel good inside that I can greet somebody and tell them good morning.
So support system. We all know once you get locked up and you do more than 3 to 5 years, people disappear within the year or the month. How was it with people coming and going and people just disappearing completely? Like, you know, like the phone calls, the letters, like the holidays.
I realized that you got to have strong ties before you come in. You can't build them while you're in. Right. They got to already be in place. And for me, you got at least about 8 people that stood by me. Everybody else left me for dead.
That's a blessing to have those 8 people though.
Yes, oh my God.
Off and on, here and that, even just that just is amazing because people really give up after a year or 3, you know. There's too much distractions in the real world to kind of like, you know, stay in touch with people, you know? And I also wanted to ask, by you starting that prison bid, being incarcerated so young, we all look at stuff from TV shows or movies or hear conversations. I want to ask you, as a man who stood 10 toes and just, you know, live by respect and principles, what is the biggest myth about being incarcerated or being in prison or something, like what people think is this way, but it's really a whole different kind of way, really behind the scenes?
TV version is no good.
Yeah.
That's fake, for real.
Yeah.
It don't even come close to reality.
Right.
They just putting on a show. When I went in there, everywhere I went, I was the youngest guy around on each compound I stepped on. And the first thing that kept me going is I realized that I don't want to be like none of that I've seen. So I patted myself against everything that I've seen. That's why I'm the way I am. I'm an honest guy. I'm a stand-up guy. And that kept me going. Because what they did, I did the opposite. They stole, I didn't steal. They lied, I didn't lie. You know, they cheated and did all that. I didn't do none of that. You know, at first, I didn't want to go to school. I had a classification officer. She's going to wake me up in the bed in the morning, make me go to school. But when I got the FSP, no telephone, no nothing, I had to take a piece of, when I roll home to get money from my mom, I took a piece of paper, put dollar signs on the mail at home. She knew I was money. But I had this guy next to me named Robert Jordan. He said, Anthony, he said, man, you got to learn how to read. Ain't no phones here. You know, he said, he sent me a book over there called Black Lady Luck. That's the first novel I ever read in my life.
Say it one more time.
Black Lady Luck. It's a black novel about a woman that went to Las Vegas and she got a winning streak, kept winning. That's the first novel I ever read in my life.
Okay.
You know, and I never looked back.
Right.
Since then, I don't read 75,000 books.
I was just about to say, numerous of books.
I don't read about 75,000 books.
Did you ever come across Sister Soldier? Because I remember one time I actually read some of her book one time I was locked up.
Don't she got a rap song out?
I don't know how much she is into the music, but I do remember she was making a lot of soulful books about life and about Black love relationships.
I know you're talking about. Yes, I did. I have read some of her book.
Yeah.
I have read some of her book. But it's a rapper called Sister Soldier. Okay. I think she's Bahamian, but Jamaican or something.
I gotta go tap in. And I've probably seen it before. I gotta tap in.
And she raps. She spits. I'm like, okay. You know?
So even with reading, like in the beginning as you was learning it and then starting to find out the definition to some of these words, like when you were teaching reading, did you ever find yourself in a battle with the classmate, with the students, like just trying to learn while they're learning?
I was already there.
You was already there. Yeah. And what age, if you don't mind me asking, what age were you when you started teaching the class?
19.
That's a blessing.
I was death row runaround, orderly. And I got off, I went to population, I went straight into school. Wow. I took my pre-G test, I did good. The only thing I couldn't do on the pre-G test was write an essay. That's when they first started essaying. Right. He gave me a book Tuesday, Thursday, I read it right. And when I wrote my essay on the GED, They gave me a certificate for the best written essay for the state of Florida on GED.
Well, that's what's up, man. Congratulations.
That was
man.
my first essay I ever wrote, and I got a certificate for the best written essay.
That's what's
in the
up.
state of Florida.
It seemed like no matter what, God had his hands on you the whole time. You know, you could have gave up, you could have lost faith. Even you saying that you didn't crash out and you actually start studying and learning to help others at 19. A lot of youth that get in that predicament, being told that they're going to be doing life or PBL, they tend to give up. And you know, we was talking off camera, and you was telling me that, you know, you had your days where you would, you know, give out, crash out energy.
Wow.
Turning up on the compound.
Real crash dummy.
Right. But it still feel good to meet you because, you know, situations like this, a dude like myself probably would have never met you, you know, because they try to hide us. They send us out of space, you know. So it's an honor to meet you because these situations don't happen a lot. And I just want to say, bless up. You already know, Swamp Willie.
Love that.
You already know, y'all tap into the book, Sentenced to a Life Sentence. You already know the Swamp Anthony story, the 14-year-old kid who spent 41 years, written by A.J. Rodriguez. You already know. That's his mugshot. You already know. Y'all tap in, man. It's Dollar Bill 305. We in here with Swamp Willie. We'll get back to y'all in our next segment. Y'all stay tuned, and it's like that.
So everybody want to know, what is Higher Voltage? Well, it's a platform. We're here to offer services for every upcoming business, every music label, every business, every artist, rapper, singer. Even if you have a product or a merchandise, that's what we're here for. We're here to give you plenty episodes of plenty shows. Y'all like, subscribe, and comment. Dollar Bill 305, Higher Voltage. Let's go.
Higher voltage.
You already know, it's Dollar Bill 305. We back from a commercial break. Higher Voltage Podcast. Cooling with my guest, Swamp Willie.
Carl Ranchers in the house.
Y'all
Carl
already
Ranchers
know.
in the house.
Carver Ranches, aka West Park. Now, you know, they done switched it up. Just like how they did Carrot City, they got us Miami Gardens now. So let's take them back a little bit. What are some of your childhood memories reminiscing on Carver Ranches growing up in that area, and what was that neighborhood like?
Like I spoke about in my book, I grew up at the park. That was the hub of everything. Carl Ranch Park was the hub. You know, the dope selling, the snatching, the whatever, the basketball. You know, I played for Carl Ranch basketball team. We went all the way
Okay.
to the championship.
What position you played?
I played forward.
Okay,
I got
see, that's what I'm
trophies.
talking about.
I got trophies,
Okay,
baby.
okay.
You know, and that was one of my fun times in my life, that park, man. I mean, Miss Kendricks.
Candy Lady Highs.
Yeah. Miss Mary Sanders. I mean, those ladies was pillars in the neighborhood. They made it happen for the kids so much, time and time and time again. I'll never forget those ladies.
Right.
And they watched me grow up. They watched all of us grow up. But you know how it goes, you know? We grow up, we grow apart. Right. We grow up, we grow crazy. I can give it to Carl Ranchers Park. You know, that was my beginning and that was my ending. You know, I had good moments, I had sad moments, but more good than sad.
Right.
You know, and I still walk to that park. They don't change when I still walk to that park and I sit down out there. I'd be out at night just sitting down out there and memories just swarm me, man. I could just see myself as a kid running across there with my boom box as I grow older, you know, pulling up in stolen cars. It's all gone now. It's real nice there.
Yeah.
It's got a whole total good makeup.
Yeah.
And the kids playing there without any worry about shooting. And I love that.
Most definitely.
You know, I love to see the kids there. And sometimes I just sit there and just watch them, you know, wonder where my childhood went at, you know, because if you look at them, I never had a chance to be a kid, you know, and that inner kid in me be coming out. When I go sit there and watch some other kid, he comes out.
Right. I feel the same way sometimes, because I got locked up at 15 too when I got direct filed. And it seemed like the same thing you said, just rushing too fast to like be a man or do bigger stuff than your age actually requires for. And it just puts you in a space where if you look back, some of the stuff that was fun to do as a child, you probably thought it was lame or green. I could tell me and you probably on the same time, they ain't on that lame stuff. And the whole time, if you look at the future now, like back then, gangsters really had to get groomed to take pictures.
Yeah.
Nigga didn't want to take no pics.
No.
Nah, the gangsters telling you the whole life story with the gun and the dope all in the picture now. You can't get them to stop taking pictures of the, you know what I'm saying, the negativity. You know what I mean?
I be tripping. I'm like, we ain't did that. We like got our Dickies on. We got our Chuck Taylors on. You know, we got the short pants sweatsuit. Right. You know, the Kangos.
The Fila,
Adidas. Yeah. So it's a whole different breed now, man. Everybody want a Tech 9 across their chest, you know, or a grenade launcher on their shoulder. You know what I mean? Come on.
And what I would give y'all back in the days is y'all step for more of a principle, more of a moral reason. Like, don't step on my toes. You know, I'm working on this street. Y'all trying to work on it. It was always more of a reason. I think we starting to fall victim of the Chicago and California stuff where it's just area versus area, gang versus gang, and a lot of stuff don't got that much meaning or purpose behind it. It's just inherited beef.
We was into respect.
Right.
And one thing everybody all around us, Carriage City, thing, a lot of they respect car renters. You know, we fought tooth and nails to get our respect, you know, and we still hold it right now today. Right. You know, but now.
Shout out all the West Park homies now, because you know y'all saying West Park now.
So all the robbers and gangsters back then, all of them got businesses now.
Right, that's what's up.
You know, and that's what I'm proud of them, boy. I'm trying to get off from there now myself.
And that's the goal too, man. Right now, if anybody in them streets right now, and we understand, man, some of them South Beach money, it was built up all off crime and dope. So we understand if you came from a circumstance and you trying to change your ways and you go legit. So be mindful of that window or that opportunity to switch the narrative. You don't gotta stay the same forever. If it's doing good for you, take your money, invest in yourself, invest in a business or something, and give yourself a chance or an opportunity to switch the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of that, that's why I wonder, you know what I'm saying?
Because, you know, from 64 to 1980, we was in a recession. You know, for the end of the 21st century, that was our biggest recession it was, man. So we had to grind to get our money, you know, and a lot of us, we were taking it. That's the only way we was getting it. We took it.
But I don't blame y'all, because you gotta remember, even though it's a crime and we understand that it's the law, but we got robbed. The black people who owned our buildings and our lands and our businesses, they robbed us and took our stuff and, you know, extorted us basically through the laws to protect them because our race, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother story, but I just bring that up just to say that, you know, a lot of times we find ourselves doing things that happen to us and it doesn't make it right. Two wrongs don't make it right, but what I would say is they were better at throwing rocks and hiding hands. And us as black people, although we love and show respect, we don't be with that throwing rocks and high hand. Hey, yeah, I did it. What's up? And what you gonna do? What you wanna do about it? And I feel like that's how they were able to get off on us. So when we turn around and start robbing and doing things like that, it's just second nature. Every race do it, you know what I'm saying? But it don't make it right, you know? And that's why I'm so proud of you, even though I'm just meeting you today, because the mind frame that you got from what you started from and what you came from shows a lot of growth and development, you know what I mean?
Of course. And I'm still growing, and I'm working toward getting my license to be able to counsel children, you know, be a facilitator. And pretty soon I'll have my license.
Right. I can see you being in that counselor field as well.
I'm getting there.
So let's go back in the past, because we were talking off camera on our break and you were speaking on the family, like your sister and some of the homies. Like, let's talk about like dealing with them from being inside and now you're back out and you're trying to get back acquainted with your old life.
First of all, I'd like to give shout outs to my old sister, Catherine.
Shout out, sis.
Like I was telling you, just before I was coming home looking at my pictures, I got all these pictures. She's in every picture. So what that tell me? My sister Catherine was there on every step of the way while I was in prison. Mm-hmm. She dragged her kids up there when she came. When her grandkids got older, she dragging them too. You know, she made sure that they know her brother. And that was one of my proudest moments. Every time I walked in that park, I seen her face. Right. You know, even though she had a battle with counsel, that lady still showed up there, man.
That's a blessing, man.
You know,
to have
she
that support.
still showed up, you know. and she's always there for me. Just like now, you know, I haven't been doing at my best. You know, I've been struggling with in recovery. I'm in recovery
Coming
now.
back into society
But she's always there, man. You know, I mean, she can't really understand me because it's like I've been free and I'm just getting wild oats. I'm doing this and that, the girls, and she's like, Anthony, you know, you need to slow down. And she's always encouraging me, no matter what. You know, she don't like the things I do, but the encouragement, she just don't know, it really sits in my mind. And 9 times out of 10, it be the one that moves me. AJ represents my best friend, and my other best friend is Paul Lowell. He's one of the CEOs on vHub that's coming out, and that's going to be going to school there. And I like to give a shout out to vHub, you know, my team, you know.
shout out to the fam and the team.
And I've been letting have more people in Palm Beach come out, man, and get involved in vHub, get involved in the school. You know, because we're teaching a lot. We're about mentorship. We're about bringing families together. We're about helping people get jobs, building resumes. It's a whole big ball of wax gearing toward helping the community, you know, and that's what we're about, and that's why I love to be proud of a team like that.
And to touch back on the family that did ride and support you, like they say, when you locked up, you're not locked up by yourself, even though in the physical form you locked up by yourself. They say the family and friends do time with you, the people that care. And by her, like, always giving you encouraging words, sometimes it might not be something that we want to hear because what we doing is what we gonna do, and they trying to learn us or accept us. But at the end of the day, it still feel good to know that someone cares. It's coming from a place of love, you know?
Of course, what's me hard to grasp onto out here is, I mean, just brutally honest, a lot of people don't get to know who Anthony Davis is today.
Right.
It's sad, but it's true.
Right.
You know, they think about the kid that he once was, the Swamp Willie, the gangster, Jack Man, the escapist, but they need to take the time to get to see who Anthony Davis is.
Really is, right.
And I'm a remarkable guy. I'm a God-fearing man. You know, my biggest goal and motivation is helping the troubled kids. You know, me and my agent, we've been talking about AJ and Paul, talking about I want to start a non-profit organization for troubled children. Right. You know,
so a non-profit organization for the children.
That's right.
And you want to get more troubled youth that's coming out of the ghetto community, right, our neighborhoods that's like lacking opportunities and resources, like we were talking earlier.
That's right.
So right now, Swamp Willie, I want to get into the book and the actual story and just whatever you willing to allow us to talk about right now, because you know we got the first day that this whole thing happened to you when you caught the charge. So from being 14 to now, like, this is a lot right here. You know, just being housed with death row inmates and being in the Florida State Prison Supermax and just like, you know, 23 and 1, just them trying to do you dirty and hide you like this. Like, this is some real information. So it's like, what about the story that you want to let the people know to further notice that you're willing to share about the beginning of this in the ending, because we home and we free now and we looking forward to a brighter future. But let's just tap in a little bit about this. They gotta check, you gotta get the book. You gotta get the book. I'm not finna, you know what I mean? Tap in. It's on Amazon. You know what I'm saying? This is a real story. A lot of people buy fiction and all of these other things, nonfiction. I don't know if I'm saying
everything's
it right,
documented.
this is a real story. You know what I mean? So this made the news, everything. So even right here on the back about this book, but I want them to hear it from the person who went through it himself. So, you know, just give them a brief summary about the whole story, about your story.
It tells about me growing up in college ranches. It tells about me in my addiction with cocaine. It tells about me and this girl I met, our Bonnie and Clyde stunt, robbing together in the streets. Or it tells about my struggle in prison. It touched all over the place. But most of all, my book is geared towards the troubled children.
Right.
That's what my book is put out there for the youth. You know, and I like everybody to know that I'm not just talking. I've been inside the detention center on 45th Street in Palm Beach. I went in there and talked to them kids for an hour straight.
Right.
And the guy that's over attention said, you know what, Anthony? You say, people can't even hold people attention for 5 minutes, let alone an hour. He said, I've never seen nobody do that like you did. But my heart was in it, and I went in there and talked to them kids. And I'm going to go into the one on Broward. I'm going down there in Lee County, in Key West. I'm going to all the 10 centers that I can reach out to. And because I've been there, done that, and they need to hear my story.
Right. For the young dudes, I know y'all call it the tent. You know, they call it the tent. They don't call it the detention center. Yeah. So this book is a very interesting story about a 14-year-old kid who got arrested and sentenced to 3 life sentences. He was sentenced to another 25 years for escaping. He was released based on Supreme Court ruling that a child cannot be charged as an adult and sentenced to life. He spent 41 years of his life in prison. He now shares his story and hopes youth don't make the same mistakes he did. This is a lot of inspiration right here. And I think a lot of people might not understand because sometimes you see stuff in the flesh and you don't know what it's worth or understand what you're looking at. But this is a testimony. And you're going to be able to get the documentary soon and all of the facts and the news clips soon. But this is a testimony, and only bro can tell his story. Can't no AI apps or none of this chat GPT tell the story than the horse's mouth himself. So I'm honored to have him here, you know, today and to see him in a whole different light than what people are used to seeing him in. And looking forward to seeing these nonprofit organizations because I'm the type of people that's going to be networking you, the media outlets, to let people know what you got going on and to promote. So I wish you the best, bro, on your journey to success and what you got going next, you know?
And one of my biggest things is I like to network with a lot of different organizations, like for battered women, battered children. I'm going to be shaking hands with them. I'm going to get involved with them too.
Right.
You know, because you got a group in Miami for battered women. You know, I've been talking to her some months ago. We're going to be reacquainted in Miami at the music festival on the 30th of this month.
The film and the music festival, yeah.
And I'm excited.
Most
you
definitely.
know,
I went to the last one, it was crazy. It's almost hard to network, there's so much going on, but that's a blessed thing. You know, we ask for things to turn out good, and when they turn out great and well, don't complain.
The Life We Live, that's the movie that's going to be up there on the big screen. Yeah. I watched some young actors and actresses put their heart in that, man. I watched a lot of the production.
Shout out Track.
AJ,
Track 5300, Track 53.
I was right there.
Yes, sir.
And I really got good feelings about this movie. Right. I think it's going to hit the big screen wide open. You know, I think it'll hit wide open. I think a lot of them guys and girls going to get a lot of opportunities behind this movie.
This is starting something great, and I look forward to seeing more films from Track and more of the actors who played in it and more of the guys who wrote some of the script too as well behind the scenes.
The best. You got the best working on it. And I love them to death.
So even with your whole story right now, Swamp Willie, like if you had to tell somebody some advice or, because I see you targeting the youth, that look like that's your target audience because this situation happened to you young. And we're hearing about how they're trying to bring the direct file back. So let's give them some advice for the fact that they want to continue to do this to us. And it just said in the summary of your book that they shouldn't be able to do this to juveniles. No. So let's talk about direct filing and just that part of the story that happened to you.
Okay.
And the advice to get a youth about keeping them from not.
I'll let you start on one of the biggest openings, breakthroughs was for the Second Chance. That was the Second Chance Act through Obama.
Okay.
Is that they had to come in with brain science. That's dealing with the juvenile brain. And this doctor got up there and was telling the judges and all the other people that the juvenile brain ain't fully developed until like 24 years old. You know, so that opened the door for a lot of this to come about. Because they're saying that, okay, they're 14, 15 years old, but they're still grown. No, we're not grown. Our brain is not fully developed. You know, and that's why the Supreme Court set it aside where children should be treated different than adults. That's a law.
So what is the age? Because I hear on the streets in slang, we say the mental front brain hasn't developed to 25. What do they say in law?
They're saying it's 24.
24, okay.
No,
one year.
Brain science.
Okay.
You know, and We're all still growing up, man.
Learning every day.
And the biggest advice I can give to people and the real know-how that I know, there's nothing worth your freedom. I don't care how you look at it, all the money in the world.
Right.
You can rob for $100 million. You can just say you can't spend that dime of it.
Right.
It ain't gonna do you no good. When you're sleeping with tears in your eyes, looking out the window, seeing your freedom so close, but yet so far away, all that money ain't gonna help you nowhere in the world.
So speaking on that, because I seen you use that analogy more than once, like not to dwell on it. And we can also talk about a good time, although it'll be hard for people to realize that you can have a good day in jail still. What is some of the worst things that you ever witnessed in prison or that you felt like was like, damn, man, I really need to not be in here. Like I got more potential and character and more sense to be in here.
People suffering in a cell that shouldn't be in a cell. Just because a guy having mental anguish, that shouldn't give him the right to lock them in the cell. I seen guys locked up for 18, 20 years behind the door. I mean, straight, no reprise, no nothing, just because they angry. Come on, man, we all get upset. We all have bad days, but that don't mean we should lock them in a cell for the rest of their life. Then if they don't like you or something you said when you woke up this morning, they gonna put a tray in your room. You open up, ain't nothing in it. But the camera showing they put a tray in your room. That's the type of stuff you got to learn how to deal with. How you gonna deal with me? I kept on pushing because I know I'm living through these moments in time. Every day ain't gonna be like that.
Right.
You know, there's been plenty of days they don't give me the drive-by. They call it a drive-by.
Right.
Put an empty tray and ain't nothing
Damn, that's green as fuck.
in it.
So I want to ask you, besides teaching intensive reading, did you pick up any other jobs throughout the big janitor, food work in the kitchen, anything
I
else?
worked in the kitchen.
Okay. How long did you do that?
I worked in the kitchen for 3 years one
3
time.
years.
The
Did you
vestry
like it a
room,
little bit? Or?
diet. I had to.
You had
You
to.
had
It's
to
a
work in the
survival
kitchen.
kit.
8 o'clock in the morning, say, work call, baby, you going to work or you going to the lockup? Which one? Now, some days I go to lockup. I think, man, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going no job. Turn around, put the cuffs on. I'm going to lockup. I'm going to lay up for a month. I'm tired of working, you know? But now, that's when I get up in the morning and go to work, I go with a smile when I'm on the clock. My boss told me, why you always smiling? I said, you work for 40 years, 41 years for nothing. You be smiling too coming on the job getting paid. You know, that's what I tell them, it's a fact. I smile when I go to work. You know, it feels good where I can take care of myself. I ain't got to call my sister them or write home my sister. Me support myself, I'm telling you something, I feel that's a very good feeling. You know, I feel proud of myself.
Right.
It makes me see that how far I came.
And it's a sense of confidence too.
From
Being
a jail cell
right.
to out here working to accomplish something, driving in my own car. Man, you know how I feel sitting behind the wheel with one hand, I just drive my own car, pull them to the red light. This boy does it.
So now that you've been home for 3 years, how has that feeling been like merging back into society? Like, you know, like it's a lot of things has changed. I know you go to certain areas and things are gentrification and certain things they done knocked down this flea market or whatever. How has it been feeling like really
I'm still
adapting back?
struggling, man.
Yeah, you're adapting back.
I got a long ways to go. I'm learning social grace right now. You know, it's a lot of things I just never thought about that I need to think about. Trying to operate my phone, that's an everyday thing. I got to see it call my nieces and nephews, hey man, how you do it? You know, see it call the AJ, how you do it? It's hard. But once you keep going and keep playing with it, you learn it, and I might forget it. But I'm still learning, you know, and just don't give up. That's the main thing. That would keep me going, believing in God, knowing that He's great and has no equal. It keeps me going every day. Keeps me smiling, you know, every day ain't a good day. You know, when I smile, my smile ain't fake. My smile for real.
A genuine smile.
Because I'm free.
Facts.
I don't care how bad the day going. I don't care how much I got a headache. I don't know how broke I am, but I'm gonna smile, baby. You know, because God woke me up and started me on my way.
So right now, as you start to study yourself and try to learn yourself, is there certain areas that you do find yourself feeling like you institutionalized about, or might feel like this is a prison habit or something that you want to practice on slowly shaping out of it, or a different way to make it look so you don't even feel like you're being reminded of that or anything?
It's kind of strange you ask that question because, yeah, you do.
Right. What would it be like?
It's isolation.
Isolation.
I'm very antisocial. I've been locked in a cell by myself for so long, it's a habit. I get more enjoyment. Let me say this. It's a pen pal I used to write for 17 years.
Right.
He said, Anthony, there's nothing like giving somebody your time. Nothing like giving somebody your time. But he said, guess what, Anthony? You're somebody too. Right. So I love your time to myself. Right. I love to spend time alone. I love to go fishing. I love just go sitting on the beach, you know?
And that's the stuff that they say the best things in life are free. So a walk to the beach, or, just a lot of things that we take for granted. And then once you're in a position where you're no longer able to, you start to yearn the simplest things. So that's good that you're aware, because, a lot of people be in denial, or they have a hard time soul searching, so they give up and be like, F that, that's green, it's lame. You know how it be when you in the hood, and once you gangster or you in a certain phase or mind frame, a lot of stuff you just write it off as an excuse. Like, oh man, that's what green niggas do. That's some lame stuff. But
what though?
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I sold my books in my neighborhood. And believe it or not, I can be riding by, you got kids reading my book, telling other people about my book on the street corners.
That's a blessing, man.
And I seen that, man, eyes couldn't stop smiling one day. I told my agent, I said, man, they actually on the corner reading my book, telling my story. That made me feel good, man.
Right. But even still right now, like when I was telling people, like, I'm finna interview this dude, he did some time, but he got a book. It was like, oh, he got a book? So, off rip, a lot of people can't fathom 2 and 2. Like a criminal with a published written book. It's like, they made it to where you're not supposed to hear 2 and 2 together, but two things can be right at the same time. I could have been a criminal, and I did have a story to write with a guy who wrote with me a book, and we got a book. So that's a blessing, man, that you came out to that opportunity to just even be able to tell your story on an elite level.
The book 2 hit screen.
Right.
Book 2 coming up.
Book 2 coming.
Book 2 coming.
So y'all tap in, man. Sentence to Life, man. The Swamp, Anthony story, man. This is Anthony Davis. You already know Swamp Willie, the 14-year-old kid who was spent 41 years in prison, man. AJ Rodriguez, the writer, man. You already know, man. Y'all tap in, man. It's been an honor chopping it up with you, Swamp Willie, man.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
I hope one day we can do this again soon.
Of course I'm coming back.
Facts. I wish you the best, man. Stay focused, man. No distractions, man. And keep being productive, man. I love the energy that you got ready for the message for the youth, because they need it. They really do.
Of course, they need that and some more.
Facts. But to see a real story is always better than somebody just telling somebody to do the right thing, da-da-da. So the testimony that you have in your story is going to uplift the youth.
It actually takes a village to raise a child. For real. It takes everybody in their effort to help raise a child. And along the way, I think we got kind of confused and mixed up because a lot of the family values have been sucked out of us. Right. But I think it's coming back. We can put it back.
Yeah, it's coming. As long as we here and let people be aware of what we lacking, at least they aware of it. Because we fall victim to entertainment and media and gossiping about negativity, so nobody don't really want to hear about the positive stuff as much. But they got to remember that we surrounded in negativity and we came from negative, but we trying to share that more positive life so we could be out here. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much shit for us to do out here, man. It don't make no sense for us to be dead or in jail. So if you got a chance to change your life or do something better with your life, please do, man. It's imperative.
Meet one, teach one.
Right. Each one, teach one. Meet one, teach one, all of that. One hand wash another, both hands wash the face.
That's right.
So, like I said, Swamp Willie, it was an honor to chop it up with you.
Cobb Ranchers in the house.
You already know Cobb Ranchers, man. Broward County to Dade County, man. We in here, man.
We here.
Once again, shout out Track, behind the ones and twos with the editing game, Higher Voltage Podcast.
AJ Paul.
Shout out AJ Rodriguez.
V-Hub.
for the writing, the penmanship with the books, man. We definitely gonna be narrating and publishing some more books, so y'all stay tuned. And don't forget, Sentence to Life.
That's right, Amazon.
Amazon. You
Come
already know.
out and support me.
You already
and once
know.
you order a book, give me a review so I can meet the best-selling author.
Right.
Review, put me up there on the best-selling author list, baby.
Right.
Put me up there.
Yes, sir.
Put old Swamp up there on the top of the bestseller list.
And we will be doing some signatures. We will be having him sign some of y'all books. If you purchase a book, we will be having a signing day for y'all so y'all can do some signatures
and
meet him in person.
I'm going on book tour. We start in about 2 weeks. I will be on book tour, signing books.
Let's go. Thanks everybody who made it to the end of the video. Higher Voltage Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, you already know what's going on. Join the membership. Thanks to anybody who done already. And see your super thanks, your donations in the comments, $1.99 to $14.99, whatever your heart desires. Yeah, we working, man. So tap into the content, more interviews, more blogs, more content coming soon, man. Y'all stay tuned. Higher Voltage, and we out like that.
So everybody want to know, what is Higher Voltage? Well, it's a platform. We're here to offer services for every upcoming business, every music label, every business, every artist, rapper, singer. Even if you have a product or a merchandise, that's what we're here for. We're here to give you plenty episodes and plenty shows. Y'all like, subscribe, and comment. Dollar Bill 305, Higher Voltage. Let's go.
Higher Voltage.